So the first thing I'm going to show you is the factory sounds. There's almost 1,000 factory sounds with this. You got basses, drums, effects, and I'm like actually really impressed by the drum sounds in here. Like, let me just show you some of these drum sounds. I'm like, this is cool. I would definitely use this. Really cool drum sounds. Like, I'm like, whoa, like these animal kicks be awesome as layers for like big trailer music and things like that, right? The first rule to a great mix is great arrangement, which means you need to orchestrate your instruments so they're not all in the same frequency range. But sometimes with dance music, that's kind of hard because you have things that are going to be inherently in the mid-range. Since I'm trying to focus on the mid-range, I'll just say, hey, don't worry about anything like 300 hertz and below. This is the high cut, so if you want to get really focused on the mid-range, which we do, we're going to get this high cut down to about 3K. You'll see what's happening because this is going to be pretty cool. I'm exaggerating it. You can hear it's really ducking it. It's really dipping out those frequencies so that vocal comes out and pops out instead of the synths eating up on it, right? I have found that MIDI guitars are really hard. A lot of the times it's hard to find a realistic sounding MIDI guitar. For this kind of like, skank kind of stuff, this plugin is the ultimate. I think like if you haven't heard this song before and I finish this song even with these guitars, it would be really hard to tell if they were real or not. I mean, you can mix them in with some reverb and, throw them through some bias amp too. And you could get like a tone where you're like, I can't, are those MIDI guitars? Are they real guitars? I think mainly because they're not really intonating too much, right? So I use MIDI guitars and I use this bias amp mainly for things that are very staccato, like little, sticky parts. What I like to use it for is the exciter. I think the exciter is incredible. There's a few features about the exciter that I absolutely love. I love the fact that it has a multiband. Okay, so the first thing I do, turn that multiband on. So hopefully you hear how powerful that is, and if you're listening in headphones or on good monitoring, you can actually feel the things being shaped, right? Like it's going wide and then like the high end's like getting tucked back, or it's like moving forward in the mix. It's insanely powerful, and it's something that I think is probably the most underused thing in mixing, in production, is not using just EQ for things, but actually distorting and harmonically shaping things in the mids and the sides. And that's kind of what this is doing. Limitless works with 2 limiters and a dynamic EQ, which is really what makes this thing limitless, right? That's why it's so transparent. I'll show you kind of the shaping possibilities of the dynamic EQ as well, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. Check this out. Baby, for now, go on, don't waste it. Calm down for the afternoon. She's giving that attitude. Stolen love, it's stolen love. Keep pulling in my... I mean, come on, is there any dynamic EQ that is this transparent? It's like, oh, I just want a little more pop kind of gloss in the vocal. Okay, I put 0.4 dB of 5K area up, right? And all of a sudden the vocals are got some spit on them, just glossy, sounding beautiful. Oh, I don't want that low sub stuff to be so intense when it's hitting my other processing, which my final limiter is the Ozone 9. Okay, well, I'll just shelve out 0.4 dB at 60 hertz down. I mean, come on, it's incredible, right?